I was in Nigeria. Your girl was in Nigeria. Can you see the Niger glow? Can you see it? Can't you see it? You can feel it. That's the glow of somebody who's been back home eating a mama's food. Hello and welcome back to the Moneymatics Podcast. My name is Omobobola, and on today's show, I am sharing some lessons, some insights about black tax that I reflected on or that I got while visiting Nigeria. Yes, I was in Nigeria. Your girl was in Nigeria. Can you see the Niger glow? Can you see it? Can't you see it? You can feel it. That's the glow of somebody who's been back home eating a mama's food and, back to Sweden. But anyways, on today's show, I'm sharing some of the things that I reflected on when it comes to black tax. I've kind of not really addressed the topic of black tax on my podcast because I've been trying to make sure that I can address it in a very respectful, very humble and very practical way. And so even though black tax is very big and very important to the diaspora community, and this podcast is focused and channeled to Africans living in diaspora, it's not been a topic that I've talked so much about because I've been like, okay, I want to talk about it at the right time for the right reasons and all of that. And so today I feel like I am ready to at least scratch the surface when it comes to this topic. I was reading as I was preparing for this podcast about the fact that remittances to Africa as a whole in 2024 was coming up to almost $100 billion. Let me say that again, $100 billion. And to Nigeria, my own home country, was almost $20 billion. So, diasporans, Africans living in diaspora, we send a lot of money back home. We remit a lot of money back home. But I'm looking at this not just at the numbers, but from a human perspective. So going back home, I reflected a lot, and I'm sharing today maybe 4 or 5 things when it comes to this particular topic. So let's get right into it as we usually do here. Number 1, the needs are real. The needs are really, really, really real. And I say that because sometimes, as an African living in diaspora, as an African living in Europe, sometimes you might feel like you want to insulate yourself to the needs back home. It feels overwhelming. It's a lot. And sometimes you just want to say, people should stop stressing me. Nobody should stress me. Everybody just do your thing. You're living a life there, I'm living a life here, and everybody is struggling. So it's fine. Let me struggle, you struggle, and all of that. You want to insulate yourself from that need. But the truth is, things are not easy. And I say this, maybe mostly, I'm talking about Nigeria here. Things have gotten so expensive. Even I was shocked at some prices. Something that a couple of years back you would buy for 50 naira. Now it's like 500 or 300, and it's shocking. I remember going to the store or just going on the road and you want to buy corn or you want to buy I don't know what, and then they're like 500 naira. You're like, huh? What did you say? That used to be like 50. Or in fact, those notes are not being used. I think the only thing that I saw someone buy or my dad buy with 50 naira was an envelope. It's that bad. An envelope used to be like, I don't know, 5 naira or something. Now that is what you buy with 50 naira, with 100 naira. But I say that to really get to the point of the needs are real. People are struggling. Things are expensive. I've heard people that have been home say, oh, things are expensive. But going back home, it kind of it brought it home for me that things are really expensive. The needs are there. People who call are not calling because they are greedy or because they don't know how to spend money or because they don't know how to use their funds. Sometimes it's because there are practical needs. There are school fees to be paid, there are house rents to be paid, there is food to be eaten, because sometimes even people that are doing very well, that have very good jobs, the middle class, they are struggling to make their money go round. Things are not easy. And so, the needs are really real. And that's something that if you're out there thinking that, it's too much, just sometimes reflect on that. Sometimes we are the kind of the last resort for some people. I'm not talking for everybody. There are people that would want to scam you. That one is there. There are people that want to take advantage. But for the most part, I think most people want to be honest. They want to make their own living. But sometimes things are hard. And so, of course, as they reach out to the diaspora, they reach out to people living outside the country and they need help. So, anyways, needs are real. They're there. You can't shy away from them. And that brings me to the second thing. the needs are a lot. I mean, even if you come from a very good, well-to-do family, there are needs in the society. There is a neighbor whose child is not going to school. There is something happening on this side. So, the least you can do is maybe to want to help everyone. You feel like, I want to help. Like, I had those moments where you feel like you want to solve this problem, you want to solve that person's problem, you want to help that person, and it can feel very overwhelming. I know that a lot of people feel that, or you don't even need to go to Nigeria or go to Kenya or go to Uganda to feel that overwhelming need, especially if you're one of those people, or if you're someone that, people call a lot and they reach out to you and you're kind. I know that you understand this, that you can feel like you want to help everyone, you want to solve everyone's problem, and you need to really I came to the conclusion for myself that I can't. I mean, I can't help everyone. I can't solve every problem. And so I think that's a conclusion that for a lot of people, you will come to that, yeah, you can't solve every problem. So you now have to prioritize what to do, how to do it. And you also have to do it while being conscious of the fact that you yourself have to do well financially, because if people are calling you all the time and you're using money that you're supposed to save or invest to sort problems, what would happen is you will find yourself in the same shoes later. You find yourself in the same situation where maybe you're living from paycheck to paycheck because they're trying to solve too many problems. So, I mean, you have to come to that place where you are like, you know what? I know that I want to help out. I know that I'm supposed to help out. I know that I feel like I want to solve every problem because I'm living abroad and I'm enjoying good roads. There's water running through the tap. I have a place to put my head. My children are going to school probably for free. And so you might feel that, I want to help everyone. But then you have to come to the conclusion that you will do it, but you will do it with wisdom. You will do it with wisdom, and you will prioritize. And there will be times where you'll be like, I'm not able, because you're trying to, get somewhere. There's that thing I usually say, that you put your own emergency mask on before you help your neighbor or your child or whatever. And it's the same thing here, that you cannot use your life savings, you cannot use your savings, you cannot use the money that's supposed to be for your investment to sort out these needs, because it would never be enough. So you need to put that money somewhere where it can multiply faster, where it can multiply, and in a way you can then continue to be a blessing. And that is something that I reflected a lot on. You just have to put your eyes on the mark. You're trying to get out of poverty, you're trying to get out of the middle class, you're trying to get out of the shackles of paycheck to paycheck, and so you have to take some tough decisions. And that leads me to another thing. I was talking about helping out with wisdom. One way to do that is maybe to not give people fish, but teach them to fish by themselves, which means that sometimes you might have to have like important conversations with people back home. Instead of you sending money every time they need it, ask them, what can you do yourself? How can you do it? And maybe help them in their business, or help them in setting up, or help them to invest so that the money can be coming back for them to use for their needs. And that can be in different ways. We're not going to get fully into all the ways that you can do that, but it just made me think that, maybe that's one smart way to do this, not to just always sort people's needs, but to find ways where you are going upstream and dealing with a bigger problem, and then, trying to help out in a way that is sustainable. And then that leads me to another thing. Yes, we're talking now about like helping people fish, but the truth is the system is broken. Unfortunately, the system is broken. The roads are still bad. At least I can speak for Nigeria. Once you're out of like the posh sides of like Lagos and some other places. Okay, in Ekiti, the roads were really good. In Ekiti State, the roads were really good. But in a lot of places, the roads are still bad. There is still no, potable water. There are still issues with electricity. And so because of that, even when people have a good mind, even when they want to do the business, or they want to find ways to make ends meet for themselves, the system is just failing them. So sometimes you have to have that at the back of your mind. Don't think that, if I give them, let me give this person money and then they will start a business and then it's just going to be smooth sailing. I'm telling you, there will be hurdles. And so that you have to be prepared for that in your mind, that you need to help people see how they can mitigate risks associated with doing business in that environment. So we're talking about investing and helping people, fish, helping people learn how to fish so that you don't have to be giving them money for fish all the time. You can also apply that to yourself as someone who has people back home who maybe reach out to you or are dependent on you, because some people really have dependents back in their home country, and you might feel like, okay, let me invest the money back home, and then once I get profit, I'll be using it to deal with issues. Yeah, so that is another way you can decide to invest the money that you would have been sending every time, a chunk, invest it in something viable back home, and then use the returns, the profit, to deal with different things. And that is something that I've never really had as a thing, but as we were talking to some people, I remember a couple of times people were saying, keep Nigerian investment as Nigerian investment. Don't try to convert it back to dollar, because then you'll be disappointed. But let's say you see it as Nigerian investment, then you see that there is growth, there is return on that money, and then maybe that money you can then be using to solve problems back in Nigeria. And so that made me reflect, and that's something that I'm still thinking. Find something back home, invest in, and then use the returns to sort out problems. Like somebody calls you and they need something, you're not taking money from here and you to send to them, but you're using money that you're making back in Nigeria or back in Kenya or back in Uganda or back in Ghana to sort out these issues. That way you do the investment maybe once or maybe twice, and then it's done, and then you use the returns to sort out issues that are arising. Now, it will not be a walk in the park. It may not even be as easy as I'm saying it, because again, the system is broken. You have to be very careful that you find the right business to really invest in, the right things to do. It might be that you just do like treasury bills or bonds, government bonds, things that are very low risk, but you know that the returns are guaranteed, and then you use that for the needs that are arising back in Nigeria or wherever it is that you come from. So that's something to ponder on, to think about. That's something that I am thinking about a lot, and hopefully I'll come to a conclusion on which businesses are the best or what to do. But I think at this moment I'm more on the safe investment vehicles that are available. And that leads me to maybe the final point. The final point is really not so much about black tax. It's just something that you see. Now I have friends that have maybe moved back to Nigeria or tried Nigeria, and sometimes you wonder, what are they seeing? The truth is, there is money to be made in Africa. There is money to be made in Nigeria, in whatever country that, in the whole continent, I believe there is money to be made, because, man, it's different. The system is different because the system is, we said the system is broken, but in that brokenness, there is money. And there's a Yoruba adage that says, well, it's like saying that the money is in the forest, practically saying if you go out and farm and do all of those things, there is money. But I'm saying, like, there is money in the thick jungle, right? And it's the same thing. There is money in Africa. Let me tell you, people are making money. The people who know how to make money are really making money. So, and that's something that I am not even doing anything with that. So I'm just leaving it right there, that there is money to be made back home. So don't think that, so I'm the kind of person that I'm very much into, money back, like, let me just stay away from investment or doing business in Africa or in Nigeria in particular. Let me focus on Europe. I understand it. I know if I put my money in Nordnet, in Avanza, and I invest it S&P 500, 10% every or 7% every year, in 20 years, there'll be this amount of money in my account and all of that. But the thing with Africa is, it's so beautiful, is the money is not these 10% things. Like, the people who really know how to do business in Nigeria or in Africa, they are cashing out. And that's something that we as Africans living in diaspora, we can really key into if we open our mind to it. So if that's the only thing you take away from this episode, there is money to be made back home. But you have to be smart. You have to be business savvy, and you cannot be sentimental. You cannot jump on anything that somebody says is a business. You have to do your research, you have to plan, and you have to meet the right people. But I'm telling you that there is money to be made. And so, yeah, let me know in the comment section if any of these things resonated with you, if you are planning to approach your sending money back home differently after listening to this, or if it's something that you relate with a lot. I would like to really know in the comment section. And don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button so that you are the first to be notified when a new episode is released. I'm so glad to be back. Yeah, you want to see what my t-shirt says? It says, "Do not eat your seed." So please That's something to keep in mind as well. Don't eat your seed. In all of these things, as you're sending money back home, as you're being kind and generous, please don't give seed out. Let it be the fruits that you're giving out, okay? So until I come your way again, this is the Moneymatics Podcast, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.